this is Robert from Virtual Set FX, and today I'm going to show you how to use our modern Virtual Studio background in your video productions. This background, or all these backgrounds, are actually in QuickTime video format, so they are animations and they can be used in pretty much any video editor that you're using. Any video editor that can do green screen, chroma key video production can be used with these backgrounds. So Premiere Elements, Final Cut, Sony Movie Studio or Vegas, Pinnacle, any of those video editing programs can be used, as well as a number of other ones as well. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to set up the background in your video editing project, add some talent on top of your background, and then place a video in your B-roll animated monitor area right there. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete out everything I have in here so you can kind of see everything that I do. And the first thing I'll do is I will click and drag in all of my studio backgrounds that come with this studio background thing here. And that is about 23 different files and animations. You can see they kind of different background setups and that kind of thing. And so this one you can see just has a little animation in it. This one has a little drop down monitor right there. Some of them have stationary monitors and different angles of the set and that kind of thing. So for this one, I'm going to set up with this background right here. We've got a little animated monitor that comes in from the left and comes down. And so we'll do that. First, before I do that, I'm going to import my green screen footage of my talent, and then a little stock background clip that we can put into our little B-roll clip area. So the next thing you would do would be to click and drag and drop your talent shot that you filmed them on a green screen there, and then a piece of footage that you can use in the B-roll monitor area. So first things first, let me click this this background that I've decided to use. I'm going to click it and drop it onto my sequence area right there. Just so you know, I'm using Premiere Pro CC. The same workflow that I'm using here can be used in Final Cut or Vegas or Premiere Elements, that kind of thing. Very similar workflow. Your buttons may be slightly different as far as how you bring things onto the timeline, that kind of thing. But the basic idea of it is the same across the board. So we have our animation that comes down there, like that. And then the animated monitor goes back up right there, like that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have three layers on this timeline. We'll have our video 3 layer, which is the top layer. That's going to be our talent. Our video 2 layer right here, which is going to be our studio layer. I'm going to drag that up there to the studio layer on the second layer. And then the bottom layer will be our B-roll footage for the background there. And so next thing I'm going to do is click and drag our talent footage onto this top layer. So she's on the very top. And the first thing you would need to do is to remove the green screen in your footage there. In Premiere Pro, easiest way to do this is to open up the effects window. You can go to video effects, keying, and then choose your key. I find that it's really easy to use this little search bar right here and just start typing in some of the things you want to do. So for keying, we're going to say KEY for keying, and it brings up all the different keys that are available in Premiere Pro. Ultra Key is one that's kind of built in that comes with Premiere Pro that tends to do a really good job. And so I'm going to click this effect and apply it to our talent layer right there. And it won't do anything until we use this little eyedropper tool right here in the effects controls area to select the green so that the computer knows what color to key out of the scene. And so we'll click the eyedropper, come over to this green area, click it, and then wait for a second, and it will calculate the green in the scene and remove it, showing the layers underneath. You can adjust the chroma key settings and all this stuff here to get your key a little better, a little cleaner. There's also a kind of default setting where you can click this little drop down and you can have a relaxed key or an aggressive key. Either one of those, will do a little quicker job of going through and adjusting these settings for you. The next thing we're going to do is apply another key to remove the green in this monitor area right here. And so we'll do the exact same thing, come over to our effects window, select Ultra key, click and drag it onto our studio there, and then use the eyedropper to sample the green in the monitor area, which will click through, and then you'll be able to see the layer underneath. There's nothing in that layer, so let me add the little piece of footage that we had and drag it, drop it down in there, and you can see now that it shows through on this monitor area right there. I'm going to right click and click unlink for this audio, unlink the audio and video, and delete the audio since we're not using it. So now you can see that we have our B-roll layer, the studio layer, and then our talent layer on top right there. Next thing you need to do is scale and position your content so that it shows up in this monitor and you don't have all this black space and that kind of thing. In Premiere, you just select it, come over to your effects controls, motion effects, and scale and position the footage to where you need it. Scale it, position it up and down, and whatnot. Another thing you can do to make it even a little more realistic is to apply a 3D effect to this layer so that we can kind of tilt it so that it matches this monitor angle there. And the way to do that is to go back over to the effects windows, type in 3D, and there's a perspective effect called Basic 3D. Click that, drag it onto your video, and then in the effects controls area, you can adjust the swivel and tilt to more match that angle of that monitor. And then now we go in and adjust our scale and position again until we remove all the black around the animation and whatnot. And so if I play through, then you'll see that we have our background, our talent, and the animation comes down, and we have our footage in there like that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with these backgrounds as well. You can, if you want to adjust some of the colors in the background, you can use the color editing options in your video editor. So for video effects in Premiere, we can go to color correction. We can adjust the brightness and contrast and that kind of thing. We can also change the hue levels and saturation, which is just this HLS effect. And if I click that and drag it onto the studio layer, then that'll give us some options to maybe reduce the saturation down a little bit. Maybe that's a little too bright for your production. You can change the hue of the background, which will change some of the colors around. So maybe maybe you want to change it to a different color temperature or something like that for your production and that kind of thing. So there's a few options for adjusting it to better fit your video production and that kind of thing. The animations themselves are repeatable, and so if you have a segment that's longer than the 30-second clip, which is what the animation is, what you can do is on this particular studio, they loop from 4 seconds and 15 frames, so 4:15. You can slice your clip right there. So if I slice it right there, and then let's see, it is at, I believe 23:15 is the where the loop ends. And so if we slice our clip right there, all of this intersection right in the middle will be repeatable through the whole animation. So we could just copy that segment, copy and paste it on down the timeline. And so if you have a 5-minute presentation, then you can extend it for that long. If you have a 45-minute presentation, then you can extend it for that long. And the where the animations intersect there, it's just a perfect loop, and so it'll just keep going for as long as you need. And then when you want to go out at the very end of the animation, you can put this end piece back on, and then it will get to the end animation, and then the monitor will animate up and out of the scene like that. So in this studio, we have a bunch of different setups for the background. So we have different angles. We have kind of a center angle, right angle, kind of over to the left angle, and that kind of thing. And so you can do all sorts of different things where, you know, this one right here, maybe you have some big monitors that you can replace with your own footage there. So let me show you what that would look like. Like that. And then of course we need to apply our chroma key to remove the green in this scene. So let me apply the Ultra Key effect to that studio. Click the green. That shows through to our bottom layer. And then you can either scale a clip in the background so that it covers up all three monitors like that, or you could scale down and position, you know, a piece of footage right there. I'd actually need to add another video layer, so we'll paste that clip onto another layer there, and then position it again. That's maybe scaled up a bit, that kind of thing. Angle it right there. And so you could have, you know, 1, 2, 3 monitors, or just one monitor that goes, you know, over the top of the whole thing. So there's a lot of different options that you can play with, depending on your production. You could make this be, you know, your logo for your show, and then this area be footage that represents what your presenter is doing, and this could be a motion graphic of some sort that's going on in the background here. So a lot of different options for things that you can do. Hopefully this all made sense and helps you out a little bit. Like I said, the backgrounds are QuickTime format, so they are compatible with just about anything on the market that can do you know, multiple layers, and that can do green screen video productions and that kind of thing. The other thing that you can also do with this particular set is if you have a full screen presenter, if you have a green screen that goes down to the floor and you have your presenter on top of the green screen, you can actually position them into the scene itself so it looks like they're standing kind of in this area. So let me show you how that might look. So I'm going to drag this piece of stock footage that I have of a presenter that is full screen. So I'll delete out our lady there and replace her on the timeline here. Drag her down there. Normally you would not have 3 instances of your presenter. You would just have the main, you know, one shot. So let me just crop out these extra pieces here. I'm going to use a cropping effect on that piece of footage, and then crop that one out, and that one out right there, like that. And then I'll apply my keying effect to that footage. Select the eyedropper, select the green screen, and then I will move and scale her as needed in the scene. Like so, like that. And then you can see she kind of walks into the scene, and it appears that she's walking on the floor there, and that kind of thing. You can even get more advanced with it. You can, you know, add shadows depending on your video editor. You can add shadows. You could flip her vertically and add in a reflection, you know, on the floor there of your presenter coming in. Lots of different options there. So hopefully this was a helpful tutorial. If you have any questions, just visit us on our site. It's in the description of the video. And yeah, thanks for watching.